This was the most challenging photo expedition I've ever done. I came to East Greenland in the winter, one of the most remote places on Earth. To reach our base, we had to travel 12 hours across frozen fjords and steep river valleys. The journey was physically and mentally exhausting, but it was worth it for this. Greenland is vast, raw and humbling. A frozen wilderness that feels untouched by time. This expedition pushed me to my limits, but it left me in awe that this harsh, beautiful world is a daily life for the animals that call it home. Join me for this 2-part series in the wilderness of East Greenland. This was easily the most challenging expedition I've ever been on. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm about to get on a flight to East Greenland. I'm all packed. Let's go. I was nervous getting on board. Not because of the flight, but because of what's in store for me over the next 20 days. I was on my way to East Greenland. People don't go to East Greenland during winter, and anyone who does usually goes by boat during the summer months. This expedition is a one-of-a-kind, and it's thanks to David Gibbon, owner of Wildlands Nature Tours, for developing this trip. As we flew north in this noisy, unpressurized plane, we flew over miles of sea ice. Perfect habitat for polar bears. And in the distance, we could see land. Greenland. Greenland is the least densely populated country in the world. It is vast, and 80% of this island is covered in a thick ice cap, which is melting rapidly. And I hope this journey inspires why this wild, frozen world needs protecting.
Most of the time we have to stop.
Really?
A little snow.
We have just landed! Greenland! We landed at Constable Point, the airport and base camp for this expedition. David and I met the team and we explored the area.
We're having a tour. I've seen my room.
So I have arrived in Greenland with David and Paul, and we have come to the base camp. We've met the team, but the journey was incredible. We flew over this amazing sea ice, and then to see the mountains and the start of Greenland was just incredible. I am the only female guide on this trip, and so I have this whole room to myself, which is lovely. Let me show you around. So this is the front door, and as you enter, I have my camera equipment, some cables, my clothes. That's literally all the clothes I brought. 3 matching base layers, 2 of which are merino wool jumper, hat. I have my salopettes, but we're actually provided with full kit, including these massive boots think I'll be warm. A little mirror, and these are the bunk beds, and I'm up here. But what a crazy view. This morning we've woken up at 5 o'clock and we're almost ready to start our snowmobile expedition. It's going to probably be one night, might be two, might be three. I have packed all my stuff, camera equipment, my clothing. I am already wearing 4 layers here, and then I wear this massive coat for snowmobiling. I slept pretty well, woke up at midnight feeling quite cold, put on another duvet and I was fine. It was minus 27 last night. I think it's minus 24 now. Pretty cold. So it was minus 27 this morning. I think it's around minus 24 now. We're pretty much ready. We have to wear these massive snowsuits, but we'll be snowmobiling for about 12 hours today. Well, it's going to be a 12-hour journey, but we're going to make lots of stops. The purpose of this trip is to prepare the house and expedition for the photography guests arriving in a week. I found it very difficult to film the journey, and really my entire focus was on snowmobiling. The first few hours were fine and relatively smooth, but we then started to do big turns, and then we were going up and down steep river valleys. I found it mentally and physically very challenging, and there were moments I got very nervous. You'd think snowmobiling wouldn't be physically demanding, but my shoulders, arms and thumb from holding the accelerator were so tired. After 12 hours, we arrived to the house. So last night we arrived at this house, literally in the middle of nowhere. Greenland is so vast, and the journey was definitely one of the hardest things I've done in my life. It was cold. When we set off it was minus 27. I reckon it didn't get much warmer than minus 14, and usually I'm fine with cold temperatures, but I'm actually only outside for a few hours each time, and we were outside for 12, 13 hours, and my arms were getting so tired of constantly accelerating on the snowmobile, and turns were becoming really difficult. I'm constantly having a look around for polar bears. I'm outside on my own. I'm right next to the house, but I have got my flare just in case. So the journey was very difficult, and just as we arrived, 2 snowmobiles went into sea slush. So we actually crossed a frozen fjord with lots of icebergs which are frozen, and we were going across and it was absolutely beautiful. It was sunset, and then 2 snowmobiles just got stuck literally in the last kilometre. So it took some time to get that out. And then we arrived to this house which hasn't been occupied since the summer, and we were lucky that no windows had been smashed. After such a long journey, all I wanted was warmth. My feet felt like bricks because they were so cold. Yeah, it was a hard night. I probably spent 2 or 3 hours shivering before I fell asleep, and I think I only got like an hour's sleep the whole night. But the heater is finally working. It is much warmer, so tonight will be far more comfortable to sleep in. We've heard some Arctic foxes, but we haven't seen any. I can feel my nose is starting to freeze already. It must be around minus 18 now. But the whole purpose of coming here before the guests is to prepare the house, and also to bring 2 snowmobiles here. So tomorrow we're leaving quite early, and it will be a much easier route back because the track for the snowmobile has been made, and I'm also not driving, so I'm very happy about that. But I'm very looking forward to going back, having a hot shower, sleep in a nice bed, and feeling warm. It's an incredible place though, that's for sure. I slept much better that night, and what an insane place to be. When I travel somewhere as remote as Greenland, I'm very intentional with each piece of kit. For this expedition, I brought the 400mm f2.8, the 16mm for vlogging, an action camera and a drone, and that is it. I didn't take anything else. On trips like this, I really learnt that less is more. And anything I'm not using, either in the field or at home in Sweden, I sell to MPB, who have sponsored this video. Selling with MPB is simple and secure. You get an instant quote, insured collection from your door, and payment straight to your bank in just a few days. It's a great way to pass on equipment to another creator who will actually use it. And it keeps gear in use and not sat on a shelf collecting dust. So when it's time to change gear, MPB is the place to do it. How's it going?
Sorry?
How's it going?
It's going okay.
Digging your way out. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. The journey back to base camp was just as challenging, but for different reasons. As a passenger, I didn't have the heat from the snowmobile's engine to keep my feet warm. And my feet had got extremely cold and yellow. It took about an hour to get them warm again.
Oh my god.
At this point, I wasn't sure whether I could continue with this trip. I had 4 days to reflect. My main concern was disappointing guests. But with the temperature increasing almost 20 Celsius to around -1, I had worked the courage to stay. But the most difficult challenge hadn't even happened yet.
But it is a bit like that. Yeah.
After several days of resting and lots of reading, the guests had arrived. And the conditions were perfect over the next coming days. The expedition team had already made the journey back to the house at the frozen fjord, whilst the guests and I were taking the easy route, a 25-minute helicopter ride.
The thing is that we have some sensitive avionics underneath the rear cargo hold, so if there's...
It's helicopter time.
Greenland is so vast. This is an Arctic desert. Miles upon miles of white. And then we crossed the frozen sea. to our home for the next 5 nights.
We have just arrived and landed at the house where we will be staying for the next 5 nights, looking for polar bears, musk oxen and any other wildlife. The journey was really nice and smooth. It was about half an hour, and now the helicopter will go back and collect the rest of the group. The second helicopter is just arriving. I can hear it.
The whole team was here now, with guests from as far as South Africa. The team did an amazing job preparing the house. I can't say it felt cozy or homely, but it was definitely warm and full of friendly faces.
Red, hot, so that's the hot end. Okay, so hold them on.
After a flare demonstration, we walked up to the hill to find mountain hares, who were sitting tight, conserving their energy. And then we saw a beautiful Arctic fox. In the next episode, we explore untouched wilderness in search of Greenland's iconic wildlife. And I take the photo that ends up being the front cover of my wonderful wildlife calendar.